Hello, beauties. Welcome to my live. Welcome to my page. If you're new here, my name is Abby O'Keefe, and I'm here with you live. And I love coming in here and hopping in live. I'm mostly live Monday through Friday, so pop in here. I don't really have a set schedule. I come in when the message comes through, when energy's moving through me, and I feel like I have something to say. And I feel that very strongly today. I am so excited to talk to you about this, about meeting your edge, and elaborate a little bit more on what I posted last night. So last night I posted something that said, I am not the coach that's going to help you intellectually understand something in a new way, intellectually understand something new. I don't speak to the mind. I am the coach that's going to guide your body to its energetic edge of limitation and let its movement create your breakthrough. I posted that last night, and I posted a little caption, and it came through so strongly for me yesterday, and I cried, and I just sat with it, because when I wrote it, I felt a lot of shame around it. I felt a lot of past expectation coming up. I felt so much of my past of trying to be something that I'm not, trying to coach in a way that's not natural to me because I felt like I had to or I should. A lot of expectations surrounding this industry that have come up for me in the past about how it should work, how you should do it. And when I wrote that, I felt like I was really claiming my sovereignty and my place in this industry. And it felt so powerful for me. And I had resistance to sharing it, but I wanted to. I wanted to share it with you because I want you to know my heart. I want you to know why I'm here, why I do what I do, and what's been most impactful for me, and that's the place that I coach from. There's a lot that we put on ourselves as humans to be a certain way or do a certain thing because it's the way other people do it. It's the way we feel like we should do it. And because of that, we feel a lot of shame or guilt or resistance to doing it the way our intuition is calling us to do it, to doing it the way that actually feels good to our body. And hi, Rachel. And something that I want to share with you, and I think this will help you understand too what I do and why I do it. Why I do it in this way and why it's important to me. And it's all just been sinking in and integrating so much over for years. But in the last couple weeks, parts of me are falling away and new pieces are coming together. And the way that God is moving through me and working through me is I'm being called to really take a stand for what I'm here to do. And the phrase comes to mind of stay in my lane, but it's not to limit myself. It's just to fully own the power of what I do well, of what my zone of genius is, and to start eliminating the things that aren't in that zone of genius. Because the way that I serve the best is doing the thing that I'm good at over and over and over again, and inspiring you guys to do the same thing. So that's what this live is about. So here's what I do. My background, if you don't know me, my background is that I struggled with anxiety and mental health a lot. I found breakthrough in my body. I didn't find breakthrough in my mind. I intellectually understood a lot of things about anxiety. I understood all of the pieces of that I was not innately fearful, that I wasn't made of fear, that it was an emotion, but nothing in my life was changing. And I saw therapist after therapist, and I read books. I did journaling. I did, all of those things that people would recommend me doing, and I wasn't finding healing. And I opened an email with a Kundalini meditation in it, and I sat down and did it, and my body experienced a breakthrough that my mind could not comprehend. In that moment, my body felt something it had never felt before, and that was peace, and it was joy, and it was bliss, and it was unapologetic, and it was unshakable, and it was so grounded in who I was that I remembered in that moment that is who I was. I was not the fear. I integrated in my body. I felt in my body the breakthrough that my mind had already experienced. But when we have a breakthrough in the mind that's not integrated in the body, it's like cutting off at your head. It's like you can't the two aren't in harmony. The belief that you know in the mind doesn't feel safe to work with the body, to work with your energy, so it just stays up there. It's like when an idea just stays an idea. If you don't take action, if you don't move towards it, nothing changes. So that meditation, that practice showed me what was possible for me. And I spent my entire life pursuing deep inner peace, doing the inner work through the body. My body holds my breakthrough. Your body holds your breakthrough. There are ways that you can read, intellectualize, learn, know concepts, spiritual concepts, philosophical concepts, that you can understand the energy of everything at an intellectual level, at like a mind knowing, but feeling it in the body is what creates the embodiment of the thing that you want. Becoming the energy of the thing that you want it happens through the body. It doesn't happen up here. You can't think your way to a new embodiment. You have to move your way there. So what I do, what I specialize in, is the somatic work. It's the somatic healing. It's the breakthrough through the body. So I talk about some intellectual concepts, right? I talk about those things that like we understand. I talk about emotional intelligence. I talk about understanding your emotions. I talk about walking with your emotions and learning the role that they play in your personal evolution. I talk about victim mentality. I talk about a lot of the things that we hear about that are our perceived self-limitation. They're the things that we need to break through to get to the next level. But what I actually do is I facilitate the breakthrough through the body through somatic work. I created and teach a form of Kundalini called Embodied Kundalini. So Kundalini has a lot of beautiful masculine structure to it, and I bring this like femme flair to it. So we do other practices like within Kriyas and meditations where we're doing somatic work. So I may be using Reiki while we're doing a practice. I may have you do some tapping. I may have you do some somatic postures like shaking or squeezing. I may have you do visualization in it. I become an open channel when I teach these breakthrough experiences for messages, for guidance to that edge. So my role on this earth, my purpose, part of my big purpose for being here, is to help you tap in to the awareness, to the sensation, to the cues that your body is telling you for how you get to that next level. So whenever you have that kind of angsty worry energy in your body and you feel like, you just feel that like almost like that can't catch my breath feeling, or you have like the pit in your stomach, or maybe you get kind of nausea or a headache, the body's cues that you're exhausted, that you're burned out, that you need water, that you need food, that you need to move your body, that you need to take a social media break, that you need to take a walk in nature, that you need to, do something. Your body is cueing you all the time. And the way that we get sick, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, is that we ignore it. We ignore it. We say, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. Pin in it. Put a pin in it here. Pin in it there. Pin in it there. We think, I can just deal with that later. Because we can mentally push ourselves and push ourselves and push ourselves. But there is a point where our bodies just starts fucking shutting down. And I'm not saying fully shut down. I'm just saying you get exhausted, you get burnt out, you start to get super sad, super anxious. You get, you don't want to go to work. You hate your office. There's conflict happening in your life. It shows up in so many different ways. Everybody has a patterning. Each person has an individual patterning of where it shows up the most, right? The easiest point of access for when our body is we're done, we're out. And for a lot of people, that is some sort of sickness, like a headache, like nausea, what is something that takes you out of it. That's okay, we're not doing this anymore. You're not listening. And I was talking with a private client this morning, and she was saying that she feels angsty energy a lot, that she feels that kind of overwhelmed, exhausted energy. And I said, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to notice the angsty energy and turn your Reiki on, or sit down and do a meditation, or go take a walk in nature. It doesn't have to be that big, grand, gesture-y feeling. All I want you to do is take a breath. I just want you to pause when you feel that energy and take a breath. If you feel like taking 2, if you feel like taking 5, if you feel like putting your hand on your heart and saying, I acknowledge you, do that. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture every single time, but we get into the habit of storing our emotions because we'll deal with them later, and then we don't deal with them. Then we'll deal with them tomorrow. Then we'll deal with them the next day. And then it boils up and we explode. explode. Major breakthroughs happen just by giving your body acknowledgement. Because when your body is giving you the signals, the cues, the physical sensations that are saying like, hey, are you listening? Are you listening down here? Nausea, heartburn, heart palpitations, nervous energy. Like, are you paying attention to me? Our body feels silenced. Our body feels silenced so much. It feels trapped. It's trying to tell us, free me, free me, free me. Something's wrong here. Alert, alert, alert. And we don't listen to it. We don't listen to it. But when we take a simple tiny act of just taking a breath, one breath, our body gives us that warning sign of like, I'm exhausted. And we just say, that's us acknowledging our body. In that moment, you are acknowledging that your body is signaling to you. And you know what your nervous system does is it says, okay, she sees me. She sees me. She knows. She's not forgetting about me. Ooh, it makes me super emotional because I didn't listen for a really long time. And I hit like a complete physical downturn in my life. My body really was shutting down. I wasn't sleeping. I was so sick. I was so dizzy. I had a racing heart palpitations, panic attacks in the middle of the night. My body was signaling me like, do something, pay attention to me. But I wasn't listening. And all my body wanted was for me to just listen for a second. It doesn't have to be 2 hours of meditation. It doesn't have to be for a long time. It's just the simple act of acknowledging that your body's communicating with you is so powerful. That builds so much trust for a system, for a body that a lot of times we don't have much trust in. We don't have much love for. We're constantly criticizing. That's criticized maybe by other people in our life, by society. We feel like we have to look a certain way, be a certain way, have a certain body, wear a certain type of clothing. We're always criticizing our body, the way that we look, the way that it feels. What if all of that was your body's communication with you? And you just paid attention, you just slowed down and you took a breath and you put your hand on your heart and you said, I see you. You know how good it feels when you're having a conversation with your best friend and you just got in a fight with your partner or with your parent or with your kid and things feel really hard and your best friend just sits there and listens to you, talk about it and vent about it and get your emotions out. You know how good that feels to feel seen? We all know that feeling, right? Where somebody sees us. That is what your body wants. It wants validation. It wants you to see it. It wants you to recognize that your nervous system is dysregulated. It doesn't need you to solve it in every single moment. You can create space to be with yourself and then have those moments throughout the day where there's a little dysregulation and you just acknowledge it. You take a breath. You use that life force energy to just slow down for just a second. It's not about, I don't have the time, I'm too busy. It's that, okay, well, if you're too busy and you're saying you don't have the time to acknowledge your own body and the pain that she is saying that you are in right now, you may not have that time. You may think you don't have that time right now, but you will wish you had taken the time when you're older. When you feel burned out in a week, a month, a year. When you feel exhausted, when you're in adrenal fatigue, when your resting heart rate is elevated 5 beats per minute. Your body is always communicating with you. My role, my purpose is to guide you to your body's energetic edge. I create an ultra safe to be fully seen, fully you, fully expressive in your emotion space. And I guide you through Embodied Kundalini, this holistic, healing modality, beautiful, beautiful practice. I guide you up to that edge. I walk you through it. I'm giving you cues. I'm empowering you. I'm reminding you who the fuck you are. Those affirmations, those channel messages are coming through and they're beautiful and you're releasing and you're receiving and you're releasing and you're receiving and you feel free, liberated. You meet that edge and you say, oh my God, I remember. And you bust through it. And in 1 hour, your life has changed. Yeah. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. And Goddess Rising is a 5-week presentation of that. It's 5 weeks of continually meeting your edge in an incredibly safe space. Don't underestimate the power of co-regulating with a coach that feels safe. If you find a coach, a mentor that you are drawn to, that makes you feel seen, that makes you feel heard, that makes you feel cared for, co-regulating with them is so good for the nervous system. I tend to attract clients that desire to co-regulate with somebody, that desire to like tap into the energy of my nervous system and that like peaceful healing energy that I hold, so that they can have a little bit of that while they find sovereignty in it within themselves. Because what I do isn't about me. It's not about me at all. I don't have something that you need. You have what you need. I am going to guide you down and in to find it and then bring it up and out so that it becomes who you are. It's a remembrance. It's an activation. It's an access point of your soul, of your love, of your heart center. It's an opening and an expansion and a deep embodiment of what you desire, because that lives in the body. That lives in the body. The mind piece, it's kind of easy to like learn a new thing, right? Especially like, have you ever read a book and a self-help or personal development book and you loved it and it was so amazing and you read it and you were like eating it up. You were like, this is gold. This is good. I resonate with all this. It's so amazing. And then like a month later, you're like, what was that book about? I'm laughing because I've done this so many times. So many times. Like, what the fuck was that book about? And that is like the most perfect example of you were in it when you were in it, thinking about it, knowing it, but it didn't integrate. It did not integrate. It stayed up here. This is also where the ego lives, right? This isn't where the soul lives. So when we know something, that's great. You know it. Now, what are you going to do about it to integrate it? That's when you call me. That's when you walk into my containers and you say, this is my edge. Let's move beyond it. I'm ready. I want to move beyond it. Take me down in it. Take me into the body. Take me into presence. I'm so excited for Goddess Rising. We start next Tuesday, you guys. There are a couple different payment plan options if you want to join us. It's just going to be the most incredible experience. I was filming this morning for it. I was filming some of the morning routines. I also have this kind of like extensive library of more morning practice that I'm going to bring in for optional like add-ins to make it longer, juicier on days where you want to spend like an hour or two in it. Truly, it's going to be the most incredible 5 weeks. Like, Sam, hi, I love you. Oh my goodness. So good to see you. So that's what it is, guys. Meeting your edge. You work with me when you're done making the mental excuses for why you can't have what you want, and you don't necessarily know what it's going to take to get you there, but you want it. That's where I come in. That's where I come in. We're going to let your body speak. We're going to let your body's movement create its own breakthrough. It's gold. It is absolute gold. So hop in. I would love to have you in there. Enrollment's going to close next Monday night. So we start next Tuesday on 1/18, and I can't wait to see you guys in there. I love you so much. Mwah! Sam, the replay will be up soon for you. Have an amazing day, you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.